All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm just Mopar Joe. Today we're searching for a 440 that has the special main webs like I talked about in my last video. Here's a picture of that again from 440 Source. The last block that I had, in case you missed it, it's not worth building for my big horsepower gold project. So I've got another one to tear down today. So y'all come along with me and cross your fingers that we get lucky.
There is our date code and casting number. Just like the other one, that's 630 on the end, dash 440-7. A lot of people have told me and may realize that the 7, the higher that number is, the further away it is from the original casting core or blank or whatever they use to form these blocks up. Maybe that's what I'm looking for, is form.
There it is. She's currently complete. Here is our front pad. Everybody wants to see that. The 8T, I was told, means 78 model, so they could call it a 78 440E. It does have the Maltese cross, if you can see it by that X, right? It's kind of a funny angle. It's there, I promise. Maltese cross and the X, I think that means 10 thousandths undersized bearings. We're going to find out. We don't need the cast crank. We don't need the rods. We don't need the pistons. We don't need the heads. We don't need anything except the block, if the block has the good webs. Obviously, I'm not going to throw any of that stuff away because I never throw anything away, and I'm not scared to run a cast crank in an engine. But for today, it's got to come out. So I'm going to yank these heads off before I put that on my Ghetto Fabulous build stand. That is usually the outdoor unit, so it's pretty rough.
We are.
That ought to take out any bolt I want to on this thing. And I realized if I was reusing these heads, I would get out a ratchet and take each bolt off and feel. You can feel when the bolt untorques. I have no idea if this engine was ever, rebuilt or not. But I got a sneaky suspicion somebody's stolen a couple rocker arms. There we are. But this engine, it's been a few, 10, 15 years. Well, been over 15 years ago. I think I was with my dad when we got this thing. And we picked up some parts from Glenn Nugent in Bald Knob, Arkansas. He was a Ford man most of the time. And his most memorable Mopar quote to me was, we was at the racetrack, whatever. He said, "Pinion snubbers are for hauling around fat girls." Now, I'm sorry if that offends anybody out there. That's just what Glenn Nugent said. I haven't lifted that yet, but I did take the bolts out a minute ago. And if I can zoom in a little, it's got a little rust, but I think my friend Tim at 318 Wood Run would fire that dude right off, clean it up, fire it up. He's not scared of that. I'm going to keep these internals, and I'll check the lifters. There's a little bit of rust, looks like seeped in on this side. I have no idea what the cylinders look like. It's still got plugs in the head, so let's yank those next. Also, don't forget your Utz cheese ball container for all of your part soaking needs. You can fill that full of Super Strength Mr. Clean, Super Strength Mean Green. And when you pour your parts out, they'll be way, way cleaner. But I got a Sonic cleaner also. Or you could fill it full of Evapo Rust if you wanted to. But that's Utz cheese ball. Here's a potential sign of a rebuild. See the paint inside those threads, or inside that hole right there? I do believe these were painted from the factory all together. So I don't know how blue paint could have gotten inside of these holes without these heads ever being off here. They are 452 heads, which are nice. If you want to rebuild you some for a nice stock rig or something, they got the better valve seats. And I always hear they have similar flow numbers to a 906. But we got to get them off here. Just something worth noting. There it is. Get you some. It's another little sign. Victor 3464 VC. We might be standard. Oh man, that feels pretty good. Wowie kazowie. I do not see any markings on top of our piston, so I'm going to assume right now that this is factory. However, I can't go ahead and get a quick measurement inside that bore. But this is a teardown. Right now, we're not worried about bores. We're worried about trying to find that beautiful thick main web. Head number 2, maybe. If I can grab it and give it a... There she is. This side looks exactly the same as the other. Some of these lifters feel a little bit stuck, but I'm going to pull them out like they are a 509 purple shaft or something, just in case it's a 509 purple shaft from the 80s with matching perfect lifters. This has got to be an aftermarket cam. Surely those aren't stock lifters in there. As nice as these heads look, I have no idea. There's virtually no ring groove. Had a little bit of rust in that back cylinder. I can show you that once we get all torn all the way down. And it was a little bit setting here, but could you imagine if you found a torn down engine like that? These lifters could be taken apart and cleaned and reused. Yeah, they're all there. That was a little bit tight, but here it comes. Just a little mark on it that could probably be polished off. I can clearly see it says Dorman on that freeze plug, so that makes me feel a little better. This thing's probably been rebuilt, so in theory it may be in a little better shape inside, and it might even be like an aftermarket cam from the 80s or 90s. I've got the front cover bolts out, the bottom 2 oil pan bolts off. I just stopped sideways with that old crazy engine stand. Let's pop her off there. She's just a swinging. There we go. Yeah, it looks like some definitely aftermarket gig going on here. She's a little loose, but not, you know, you can't jump rope with it, but it is a little looser than wanted. Single bolt cam. I'll get her pulled out next. That's the longest bolt I could find in the place. And we're moving. Come on out of there, baby. Cam's not looking bad so far. All the lifters look pretty good. Here's us a number. SPD 11. SPD 11. There it is. Maybe I can look that up. There's an EP 45. Don't know. Interesting. That front cam bearing looks pretty good. Not that he would want to reuse it, but we know how cam bearings can go sometimes. Here comes a little pan of doom. A little sludgy, but not terrible. Pickup was grabbed with a pipe wrench and twisted in, so we know it's a good one. But it really doesn't look dirty either. Definitely been rebuilt. Let me show you. I can see it now, plain as day. There's some old school machinist. There's number 8. It's got 8 holes punched in the cap. There's 4. Yeah, she's a rebuild, but how bad of a rebuild? Maybe it's a stock deal. And as Brandon says on the website, we won't be able to see how thick our main web is until I get the crank out and the rods out. So let's party on. Inquiring minds have to know That looks pretty wide down there, doesn't it? That's our number 2. I see the little cracks, but I don't think that's, I think that's kind of like surface stuff. I don't think that's, I'm feeling pretty good about it right now. We'll find out in just a minute. I know everybody and their mama can see this. M010. We had the Maltese cross and the X or whatever it was on the pad also. I think what happened here is this engine was rebuilt. This is the stock crank that came in the engine. It has full groove main bearings. Check them out. The mains look a little worse than the rods. There's a little ugly, some kind of mark. I don't know what that is. Let me pop this bearing out for you. I saw it just a second ago. What does that say? Standard, standard. These are DABs, D-A-B, 733. Where's it at? DA49s. Did they put a standard main bearing in the thing? I don't have a actual micrometer here to measure that appropriately. They're at my other shop. But I'm just thinking right now, maybe that's what happened. And maybe it had low oil pressure or something. But the crank's finally got to come out so we can finally look and see, is this the block that we always wanted? I mean, it even spins free, even after it sat locked up in the back corner since at least 2010, maybe? There we go. Here we are. This is very hard to measure. 3.19 is what we're looking for. I think I can already tell you. There's our 3. I think we beat that even. Yes. This is supposed to be 520 on the A side, the thin side. I think we beat that as well. There's a 5. 10, 20. I think we are 520. I'm going to say it's been a good day. I don't know what the deal was with those bearings, but we're not using bearings. We're using the block. I'll get it to a machine shop, get it checked. Praying for no problems. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll catch you next time. All right, Mopar people. Welcome back to the channel. I'm just Mopar Joe.